Behind the leather jackets, roaring motorcycles, and mysterious brotherhood of the Hells Angels lies a story of ambition, betrayal, and unimaginable wealth. At the heart of this story is Angelo Pandeli, a man whose name strikes fear into the criminal underworld and draws interest from the rest of the world. How does a boy born to immigrant parents with dreams of a better life become Australia's most wanted man? How does he rise from a nightclub bodyguard to the mastermind of a billion-dollar drug empire that spans continents? This is not just the tale of an individual's fall into crime, it's a journey into the underworld of international drug trafficking, where power is king, alliances are deadly, and the stakes are life or death. From immigrant dreams to a life of crime. Angelo Pandeli's early years. Angelo Pandeli was born into a family of Turkish immigrants who settled in Australia, searching for a better life. His parents, hardworking and hopeful, dreamed of a brighter future for their son. Growing up in Whyalla, South Australia, young Angelo had all the ingredients for success. He was bright, curious, and almost destined for a stable and prosperous life. But beneath the surface of his ordinary upbringing lay an impatient streak that would later push him to seek power and wealth by any means necessary. Despite his parents' efforts to provide him with opportunities, Angelo felt drawn to a world that promised excitement and danger. By the time he was a teenager, he was already exploring the darker sides of Adelaide's nightlife, working odd jobs as a bouncer and security guard. It was here that he encountered members of the Hells Angels motorcycle club, a feared group that blended rebellion with brotherhood, power, and wealth. What began as a fascination soon turned into a full-blown commitment to a life of crime. Pandeli saw the Hells Angels as his ticket out of an ordinary life, and his determination quickly set him apart from others. Climbing the ladder of crime from bodyguard to Hells Angels, leader Angelo Pandeli didn't stay on the sidelines for long. What started as a job working security for local nightclubs soon became his entry into the ranks of the Hells Angels. Known for his cool nature and street smarts, he began earning the trust of the club's senior members. Pandeli quickly proved himself to be more than just muscle. He was intelligent, calculated, and determined. By his mid-20s, he had become a junior member of the infamous motorcycle gang, positioning himself as a rising star in their ranks. In the world of the Hells Angels, respect isn't given, it's earned. Pandeli worked tirelessly to prove his loyalty, taking on increasingly dangerous tasks for the club. His sharp mind and ruthless determination helped him navigate the cutthroat world of organized crime. Over time, he began to build his own network of contacts and alliances. By the time he moved to Sydney, he had not only established himself as a trusted member, but had also founded the city's first Hells Angels chapter. This move solidified his place as a major player in Australia's criminal underworld. Pandeli's rise to power was swift and strategic. By the time he became the national president of the Hells Angels, he had turned the group into a highly organized criminal enterprise. What had once been a motorcycle club was now a powerful organization, and Pandeli was its kingpin. But the higher he climbed, the more enemies he made, and the more attention he attracted from law enforcement. The cocaine kingpin. Angelo Pandeli's billion-dollar empire. As the leader of the Hells Angels, Angelo Pandeli didn't just oversee local operations, he built a global drug empire. While many in the criminal underworld dream of wealth and power, Pandeli achieved it on a massive scale. Authorities estimate that his drug operation generated more than $1.5 billion annually. His operation wasn't just about smuggling drugs. It was a well-oiled machine that connected some of the world's most dangerous criminal organizations. Pandeli formed alliances with the Kinahan cartel, one of Europe's most feared crime families. Together they created an advanced network to smuggle cocaine from South America into Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. Using shipping containers, private planes, and covert routes, they moved massive quantities of the drug under the radar of international authorities. Pandeli didn't just deal in drugs, he controlled the market, flooding cities with his product and raking in profits that funded his extravagant lifestyle. What set Pandeli apart was his ability to operate on an international scale. His empire wasn't confined to Australia. It spanned continents, involving a complex web of smugglers, distributors, and enforcers. But as his wealth and power grew, so did the attention of law enforcement. A life of luxury, the drug lord's extravagant lifestyle. With billions flowing through his drug operation, Angelo Pandeli lived a life most people could only dream of. From his $8 million waterfront home in Sydney to his collection of luxury cars, Pandeli's wealth was impossible to ignore. But his most extravagant luxury was a palatial mansion on Dubai's Palm Jumeirah, a symbol of his success and status. The enormous property with its private beaches and breathtaking views was a far cry from the modest life his immigrant parents had envisioned for him. Pandeli wasn't just a drug lord, he was a man who indulged in his wealth. He wore designer suits, dined at the finest restaurants, and traveled the world in private jets. But his ostentatious displays of wealth were more than just personal indulgences. They were a way to cement his position in the criminal underworld. In a world where power is everything, Pandeli's luxurious life was proof that he had made it to the top. However, his lavish lifestyle came at a cost. The more he showed off his wealth, the more he drew attention not just from rivals, but from law enforcement agencies around the world. His mansion in Dubai, once a symbol of his untouchable status, would eventually become the stage for his dramatic downfall. The downfall, arrest, and exile from Dubai. For years, Angelo Pandeli seemed invincible. He operated in the shadows, outsmarting law enforcement at every turn. But in 2023, his carefully constructed empire came crashing down. Living in luxury on Dubai's Palm Jumeirah, Pandeli had become too comfortable, too visible. His extravagant lifestyle and high-profile connections finally caught up with him, and authorities in Dubai launched an investigation into his activities. Pandeli's arrest was a dramatic affair. The man who had once commanded a billion-dollar empire was now in handcuffs, facing a long list of criminal charges. Within weeks, he was deported back to Australia, where authorities had been building a case against him for years. Upon his arrival, he was immediately arrested, and the evidence against him was overwhelming: drug trafficking, money laundering, and ties to international criminal organizations. The downfall of Angelo Pandeli was a moment of triumph for law enforcement. After years of evading justice, the man who had once seemed untouchable was finally being held accountable. For Pandeli, the dream was over. The empire he had built, the wealth he had amassed, and the power he had wielded were all gone. The cautionary tale of Angelo Pandeli. Angelo Pandeli's rise and fall is a story that seems like a Hollywood movie, but it's also a powerful warning of the dangers of a life built on crime. Born into a family that gave him every opportunity, Pandeli chose a path that promised power and wealth, but ultimately led to his ruin. His story is an example to the attractive pull of the criminal underworld, where the promise of easy money often comes at an unbearable cost. For years, Pandeli lived a life of luxury, but it all came crashing down. His billion-dollar empire, his lavish lifestyle, and his global influence couldn't shield him from the constant search of justice. Law enforcement agencies around the world worked tirelessly to dismantle his operation, proving that no one is truly above the law. While his life may serve as a warning tale, it also highlights the determination of those who fight to uphold justice. For Pandeli, the price of his empire was everything he once held dear, and his legacy will forever be a reminder that crime, no matter how profitable, never truly pays. Angelo Pandeli's story is one of ambition turned deadly, of a man who reached for the stars only to burn in their glow. His billion-dollar empire of drugs and crime made him rich beyond imagination, but it also painted a target on his back. From the lavish mansions of Dubai to a cold prison cell in Australia, Pandeli's rise and fall is a tale as dramatic as it is tragic. His life is a cautionary tale for those who chase power at any cost. Behind the flashy cars and luxury mansions lies the truth. A life built on crime is a house of cards waiting to collapse. Angelo Pandeli's legacy will not be his wealth or influence, but the stark reminder that no empire built on greed and destruction can escape the inescapable hand of justice.